If a Minecraft movie made you want to wear patriotic pants or ask if the piglins have large talons, you're not going crazy because we're pretty sure it shares a fictional universe with a certain iconic comedy. Jared Hess, the director of both Napoleon Dynamite and a Minecraft movie, graduated from Preston High School in Preston, Idaho in 1997. Preston is also the setting and filming location for Napoleon Dynamite, and it proved to be the perfect quirky backdrop for one of the quirkiest hit movies of all time. As for a Minecraft movie, the real-world portions could have basically taken place anywhere, and it probably wouldn't have even mattered all that much if the town was never named at all, but was instead just some vague Anytown, USA. Instead, during the scenes that aren't in the overworld, it's explicitly stated that the setting is a fictional town of Chugglers, Idaho. A small town in the Gem State isn't exactly a common movie setting, so it only makes sense to wonder if Chugglers and the Napoleon Dynamite version of Preston are in the same universe. To take things even further, we don't actually see any locations in either movie outside of Idaho, with the exception of the overworld. So maybe the so-called Idaho in question is more than just a state famous for its potatoes and is actually something even bigger. Napoleon Dynamite often feels like it exists out of time. Several details indicate that it was set in the present day when it came out in 2004, like the existence of the internet and chat rooms, but so much of the fashion, home decor, and other aesthetic details have more of a 1970s vibe. Plus, VHSs appear to be more common than DVDs, and hardly anyone has cordless phones, let alone cell phones. And that's to say nothing of the fact that the houses all look like they haven't been updated in at least 30 years. There are also plenty of side ponytails, fanny packs, and a lot of orange and brown clothing, which weren't exactly hip in the early aughts. There's even a fan theory that suggests that the reason things feel frozen in time is because the movie takes place in purgatory.
Like anyone can even know that.
And sure enough, time feels similarly unmoored in a Minecraft movie. There are elements that fit within the present day of 2025, like Natalie's social media job, but then there are all the ways that Chugglers feels trapped somewhere between the 70s and 80s. It's as if both movies are basically set in the present day of the real world, but in a way that's evolved a bit more slowly compared to the present day of the real world. The title character in Napoleon Dynamite absolutely loves tater tots. He shovels them into his mouth during lunch. He asks his friend Pedro if he can spare some of his tots, and he even keeps them in his pocket to munch on during class. No doubt about it, tots are one of the most iconic elements of the whole movie. And there is of course a starchy connection here with a Minecraft movie, which takes place in the so-called potato chip capital of America. When Natalie and Henry relocate to Chugglers after their parents pass away, she tries to lift his spirits by making him a tater tot pizza, which is apparently a comfort food from their childhood. Later, when they're in the overworld, Henry crafts a potato gun that literally utilizes tater tots as ammunition. And does he have tots on hand to use as ammo? Why yes, of course he does! That's because he previously stashed them in his pocket, just like his fellow curly-haired Idaho resident. In the Minecraft Dynamite universe, tater tots are a food, a social currency, and a weapon all rolled into one.
Are you gonna eat your tots?
When Napoleon Dynamite's grandmother has to go to the hospital, she enlists Napoleon's uncle Rico to come stay with Napoleon and his brother Kip. Rico is a man stuck in the past, forever reliving his glory days as a high school football player, and now struggling to make ends meet. During one particularly memorable stretch of the movie, he tries to sell Tupperware door to door, which clearly doesn't pan out, as he then switches gears to selling a breast enhancement supplement. Similarly, Steve in a Minecraft movie struggles to find fulfillment as a knob salesman. The shared universe of these two movies appears to be one that doesn't have very much wealth to go around, as many adults are forced into mundane dead-end jobs, or extremely unusual ones. Even Chugglers, which is supposedly the center of the lucrative potato chip industry, doesn't seem to have much going for it, and nobody appears to be striking it particularly rich off that business. Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison is also struggling in Minecraft, as he pines for his 1980s youth that marks the last time he was happy and popular. Perhaps so many people are stuck in that era because it was the last time anyone in this universe was wealthy or successful. Have you ever noticed that random llama backstage on Saturday Night Live whenever people are walking through the studios always? These domesticated camelids are inherently funny animals, and it's not just SNL that has served as proof of that concept. In addition to their humorous nature, it's also jarring to see llamas milling about in human spaces and existing alongside people outside of farms and zoos. So it's undeniably hilarious that a llama named Tina shows up in Napoleon Dynamite, even more so considering that nobody ever remarks how odd it is that the Dynamites have a pet pet llama. It's treated as perfectly normal and no different than having a dog or a cat. Compare that to the early scenes of a Minecraft movie when Henry and Natalie meet one of their neighbors, Dawn, a real estate agent who has a side hustle in the form of a mobile petting zoo. And what animals are her main attraction? Why, llamas, of course. And as you might expect, that fact doesn't seem to faze anyone. So here's yet another hit movie in which llamas are run-of-the-mill creatures that everyone seems to interact with on a daily basis. Llamas are also prevalent in the overworld, which isn't too surprising considering their presence in the Minecraft games. Nevertheless, it's notable that once again nobody is taken aback by this.
Tina, you fat lard, come get some dinner!
In a Minecraft movie, Henry, Natalie, and Dawn will somehow miraculously know how to fight when they take on the hordes of evil creatures in the overworld. It's entertaining enough not to worry about when you're watching, but it doesn't make a ton of sense when you really think about it. After all, how would a shy teenager, his mild-mannered sister, and a real estate agent all have the skills to hold their own against a seriously dangerous army of bad guys that nobody else in the overworld could defeat before? Well, we can speculate about that at the very least. It's never revealed where Natalie and Henry used to reside before moving to Chugless, so is it possible that they used to live in Preston alongside the Dynamites? And if they did, maybe they took a self-defense class taught by Rex at his Rex Kwando dojo. If that sounds like a stretch, consider how Natalie opens up about her own self-defense class at the end of the movie. It's called Survival Mode Self-Defense in a nod to the Minecraft game, but it bears more than a passing resemblance to the techniques that Rex teaches. Furthermore, Natalie's Survival Mode t-shirt is red, white, and blue, which immediately conjures up images of those delightfully tacky American flag pants worn by Rex.
Do you think anybody wants a roundhouse kick to the face while I'm wearing these bad boys? Forget about it.
One thing that might make it tough to prove that Napoleon Dynamite and Minecraft are in the same universe is the existence of the overworld. Wouldn't some of the residents of Preston have stumbled upon it or at least heard of it at some point? Well, maybe one of them did discover it, or at least an extremely beta version. Kip Dynamite spends a lot of his time in internet chat rooms, and he clearly uses them as an escape to be a version of himself that he doesn't feel like he can be in the physical world. It's that version who's supposedly training to be a cage fighter, which we never actually see him become though. It's also that version who romances his eventual wife, LaFonda, who gives him the confidence to actually be the person he is on the internet. So this is clearly a universe where characters can escape to a digital dimension to learn to be better versions of themselves, and then bring that new version back to the real world. Of course, in a Minecraft movie, it goes a little further than that, as that dimension is an actual physical realm. That evolution makes sense, especially considering that the idea of cyberspace in the real world gradually developed from simple text on a screen to much more tangible worlds. So the shared Minecraft Dynamite universe is simply following the same pattern. One of the most memorable climactic moments in Napoleon Dynamite is of course Napoleon's dance routine to the tune of the Jamiroquai song Can't Heat. This happens right after Pedro is shocked to learn that there's a talent section as part of the campaign for class president.
What? A flippin' skit?
After Pedro walks off stage, Napoleon steps in for his friend and wins over the crowd with his hoofing skills. This ultimately turns the tide in the election, as Pedro manages to defeat Summer, who's the closest thing the movie has to a villain after she cruelly rejects Pedro's invitation to the dance. Something similar plays out in a Minecraft movie, as the villain arc of Piglin Queen Malgosia begins when she's mocked for her dance routine in the Nether's Got Talent competition. So clearly this is a shared universe in which dancing holds a unique form of significant power, as it can make heroes rise and villains fall. If Napoleon's dance had failed to win over the student body, then Summer almost certainly would have been elected instead. And if Magosia's dance had won over her judges, then she probably wouldn't have ever become a villain in the first place, and things would have been very, very different in the overworld. It's probably fair to say that viewers might not have picked up on all of the connections between Napoleon Dynamite and Minecraft if Jared Hess hadn't directed both movies. But he did direct both of them, and viewers did notice those connections, which only makes sense when you consider the rest of his filmography. A Minecraft movie also features callbacks to some of his other films, so maybe this all goes even deeper. And there's an entire Jared Hess cinematic universe that encompasses more than just two movies. Hess's second feature was 2006's Nacho Libre, which stars Jack Black as a Catholic friar who moonlights as a luchador. With that in mind, it's worth noting how the wrestling scene in Minecraft feels like a shout-out to Nacho Libre. That's not just because of the Jack Black connection, but also because the chicken jockey is similar to the tag team of small wolf-like wrestlers that Nacho faces.
Chicken jockey!
And Black isn't the only repeat collaborator who shows up in a Minecraft movie, as Jermaine Clement plays the man who runs the storage unit auction where Garrett obtains the crystal. He's also the voice of the piglin Bruce, and he previously starred in Hess's movie Gentleman Broncos, Don Verdeen, and Thelma the Unicorn. These details might feel more like Easter eggs than proof of a shared universe, but they're nevertheless still noteworthy. In the meantime, there are clearly enough connections between a Minecraft movie and Napoleon Dynamite that we feel comfortable declaring the existence of the Jared Hess cinematic universe. Now let's load up on tots and work on our dance skills.